Hello and welcome to Push the Point. How you doing? How are you doing, audience?
How are you doing?
Going?
Comment below.
Wow,
How are you doing?
Been a while. Actually, do though. Actually, do a comment.
Yeah,
Why not?
please.
Have you ever done one before? Why not do a tasty comment?
Yeah, well, there's about over 60% of you not subscribed. Why is that?
Oh, we're not doing that, are we?
No.
Are we actually going to do the?
I don't know. I just said 60%.
You just made that number up, didn't you?
Yeah.
It's
60% of the time they
it's
subscribe.
surprisingly
every time.
high. Should I get the? Should we do live analytics on the podcast?
No, because we don't have time. Because we don't have time. But you can do it.
We got a tight hour today, everybody.
Good luck with that.
I'm gonna say it now. Like, why not? We've got a tight hour. Otherwise, we're gonna get in trouble because we probably all told our wives that we would be done by.
Okay, so we're gonna kick this. We're gonna kick straight in, right? I know we're gonna swap it around. Beer first, home news second, right? So Simon, kick us off.
Hamish, what are you drinking?
All right, Simon, I have got a steam and brew from.
Oh, that looks good.
A Lidl or an Aldi?
Aldi, I think.
Yeah, nice.
It was from Belgium. I found it in my bag, and I was like, "Oh my god!" I brought it all the way here to talk about it. And you know, Belgium was a good May, right? It was about May.
Yeah, it was a good
time.
few months ago, wasn't it?
Yeah. So I found it. It's a German red. So God knows what that is.
I don't really know what that is. Maybe one of our German listeners could explain to us what a German red is.
Well, I'll let you know through the taste tests. But what about you, Dr. Robotnik?
Yeah, I am doctoring tonight, so I've got a Pepsi Max Cherry.
Oh, cherry!
But what would you have had?
What would I have had? Well, I would have had, I think, what Trip's drinking because we were gifted some.
Well, no spoilers, but let's have those spoilers. Oh wait, I need to wait my turn. Sorry.
Can I? Oh no, I'll do it in home news. I've got some shout outs to do in home news.
You can't do a shout out right before I'm about to have my drink. There's nothing crueler. Can someone please introduce me?
Trip.
Oh, thank you.
No,
what's the wild card today?
Louis Theroux, my dad, said, "What's Louis?" Stepdad. He said, "What's Louis Theroux doing on there?"
Well, Louis Theroux is drinking a spicy, or not spicy at all, a new beer gifted to us by none other than Baz the Bard.
Oh, what a legend!
What a legend!
MC of the Calling Birmingham. And he gifted all of us a beer, the Yorkshire Pudding beer,
as seen on vlog,
brewed at the Yorkshire Pudding Beer Brewery. Presumably they do other things, but maybe not. Made with real
this is an Aldi
Yorkshire
subsidiary.
pudding. It's the winner, guys. It is the winner of the Aldi The Next Big Thing Award. It's not sponsored, but let's find out what it's like.
Can't Aldi.
You could get this from your local Aldi, maybe. I've not tried, but let's pour it. So, do you want me to drink it?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, because it's a tight hour.
Funny story.
It's a tight hour, guys.
It's a tight hour. He will remind us. It's a tight hour, but he's gonna milk.
Funny story. I've been bought this beer twice.
What does it
now.
look like? Oh, it's.
You're getting
Yeah, go on.
Yorkshire puddings.
Does it actually smell like a Yorkshire pudding?
Of gravy,
roast dinner,
bit of beef in there, maybe.
Oh, have a sip. Come on.
Beefy beers.
Yep, it tastes just like beer. Which is probably to be expected from
a beer.
Just put some extra bread in your beer today, sir.
Would you like batter with that?
Yeah, would you like some gravy in your beer?
A lot of them, you'll probably go out battering everyone else.
Well, I'm pleased that it's not doesn't taste like Yorkshire puddings and just tastes a bit like beer, really. But anyway, cheers, guys.
Cheers, guys.
Happy post-calling. It's actually been a hot minute since the calling because we had a big interview of James White that we put out, and we've had a little bit of time just to do some family stuff.
What a great interview that was.
Why don't you jump in with home news?
Home news.
Home news.
Home news.
For my home news this weekend, last weekend, just gone, I went down to London, to your neck of the woods.
Well, this weekend.
Yeah, just gone. You were also in London.
I was, but it's your story.
Wait, I
Right,
was in
so
London this weekend.
Yeah.
yeah, you were
I
in
was
London.
not in London.
You live
Oh.
in London.
I know. Well, you have to wait
Oh.
for my part of home news to
All
find
right.
out.
So on Saturday this week, I went to the London Craft Beer Festival.
Ooh.
Um, so basically, you're given a time slot. Ours was 11:30 in the morning. The first session of the day, 11:30 in the morning till 4:30 in the afternoon, and it was about 50 odd quid. Unlimited beer. So
Oh.
you go around with your glass. You get your free glass as part of your entry, and then you go to each different brewery that you want, and you can get a taster of beer, about a third of a pint.
That's. But well,
Um,
you
I
must have
was
been
I was
trashed.
quite merry when I
Yeah.
left. No,
Yeah.
I was okay. A couple of interests. I've got the top three beers. My top three beers of the
Ooh,
day.
Yeah.
okay.
All right. So my top beer of the day was a Northern Brewing Company. They did a coffee sour beer, and it was good because it wasn't too sour. It was just right. But you could taste the coffee and you could taste the beer, and it was
Mm.
great. Trip, you would have enjoyed
Is
that.
is the name of the brewery Northern Brewing Company?
Yeah,
That's
Northern
its name.
Brewing.
It's not just a Northern Brewing
No, no,
Company.
no. The name
A
is Northern Brewing.
coffee sour
It
sounds.
was. You have to try it. It was phenomenal.
I would try it. I love a coffee beer,
I think
That
that was my beer of
sounds
the day.
but a
sounds
coffee
Closely
awful.
sour.
followed,
Yeah.
closely followed by Mammoth Brewing and
Mm.
their stout Dark Nut.
Oh my god! Right.
Now, I really needed to taste some Dark Nut because
You know.
All right, mate.
it
All right,
was
calm down. Calm down.
All right, mate.
a hazelnut stout and it was really tasty. It
Okay.
smelled like Nutella.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
All right,
it was really good.
and then the third one
The third one,
in
I went
bronze.
on a bit of a sour streak to
Right.
start the
Mm.
day off. So this was by Double Barreled Brewing,
Right.
who I also won a free bucket hat from. They did a raspberry and lime goes, which was a bit of a sour one. It was really tasty.
Mm.
Oh, lovely. How many of you went?
There were three of us in our party, our
Uh,
foraging group, and yeah,
foraging.
I think we must have each of us managed somewhere between 20 and 25 tasted beers, I think.
All right.
It's about 7 pints.
Yeah, over 5 hours.
Okay.
Now,
All
Oh,
right.
quite a
the
bit.
one thing
Yeah.
I want to say just before we move on is we don't often talk about other games on this podcast. We
Right.
are a
Oh.
flesh and blood
Well, you're
podcast.
not allowed to.
Here we go.
Here we
All
go.
right, well, okay.
How
How many
many-
Disney princesses are involved in this game? Because if the answer is more than
Zero.
0, you're not allowed to talk about it.
All right.
But it's
Down
0.
a little side alley within the beer festival, there was a stall advertising a trading card game based on beers and breweries.
All right. Well,
Okay.
now, okay.
Right.
Okay. Is
Now
this
we're
the
talking.
killer?
Okay.
And it was called, for those on YouTube, it was called Battle of the Breweries.
Right.
And it's a game you can play. You can physically play the game. You've got cards with beer and shiny bits on,
Oh, it's
and
Oh,
foiled.
shiny.
It's foiled.
not so shiny cards about breweries
Top
and
foiled.
stuff. Yeah.
Is it top
Um,
trumps?
and there's a season 1 and a season 2, which is basically like you can buy the box with your main game in it, and you can just play straight out of the box. And then you can either
Starter set.
buy, yeah, the starter set. You can either then buy brewery specific packs, which have got brewery specific beers in, or you can buy mixed packs, which have a chance for like the super rare hollows.
Right.
And yeah, it was quite fun to watch, like the guy talking about it. I was like, oh, this is like the meeting of two worlds that I never expected
That
to.
is pretty
Okay,
cool.
that is
crossover.
pretty cool. I
Now,
have to
the
say,
one-
we're sorted. If Flesh and Blood somehow cans it in years to come,
Yeah.
you have saved
Got
the
another one.
podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to say, Simon, the
Battle
one
of the
question I have
Breweries.
for you is, did you tell him that you had a trading card game podcast?
I did not mention that.
Oh God, it's like the
Can't-
best.
I didn't
it's
want
like-
any favoritism.
Oh well, I don't know. Sometimes you just got to cash in your, you got to cash in sometimes.
Do
Literally.
you ever tell your colleagues at like work and stuff that you have
Yeah,
a
all the
podcast?
time.
I told my the two colleagues I work with the most. I told them for the first time last week because they saw on Instagram. They were like, "What were you doing in the NEC?" And I was like, "Oh, I have this podcast." And they were just impressed.
Yeah.
More
Yeah,
than
gen-
anything.
the-
They didn't
the-
really
the
care what it
general
was
view is
about,
positive,
but
right?
yeah, it's like
Um,
I'm always surprised. Like I'm always interested to see how people will react. But it's generally
I sort
quite
of have to
positive.
tell people at work because for those of you who know James one of the leading UK judges. We work in the same department in hospital. We do the similar job, and when we both book holiday leave at the same time, they know that it's there's
I
a
just
flesh and blood
realised
event
that for
going.
the
Yeah.
first time. That
Yeah.
is hilarious.
Yeah, they're like,
So we
there's
basically
another
we have to
thing.
book earlier than everyone else because we are on the same rota, so we take out the same spots.
It would really give a strange impression if people looked at your Outlook calendar and they just saw Flesh and Blood with James and
Yeah,
on the thing.
yeah, that could give a different
They could make
story.
2 and 2 together and get 5 very easily from that. So
There you
I
go.
don't
anyway,
know. I know where
Hamish,
you're going with that.
what
No,
have you
no
been-
trip.
what have
Well,
you
I want
been
to
up
know
to?
yours.
Oh well, so I was not in London this weekend because I went down to Kent for Kate's
Oh, very good.
parents' 40th year wedding anniversary.
Wow, that's a long
weekend.
time.
Congratulations!
Congrats.
Which is really good. Yeah, 40 years, going strong. And I went
Bloody
seal watching on
Oh, wow.
Saturday.
Right.
So we were down near Sandwich, near Ash, where I was born, well, where I grew up.
Seals at
Seal-
Deal.
Seals
No.
at, or betwixt Deal and Sandwich and
Fantastic.
Thanet.
I'm confused.
Mate, there were so many seals. Like,
Really?
you go seal watching, you're thinking, right,
Yeah.
how many seals am I going to see realistically? One seal? How
Were
many
you on a
seal?
boat
How many?
or on
How
land?
many seal on a boat? How many seals do you reckon we saw? Rough guess. Just throw a number out there.
24.
24. How many seals, Hamish? 24, 25, more than 24, less than 24?
More.
Yeah, how many more?
I don't know. 100.
100. I would estimate around 200 to maybe 300 seals.
Wow, that's a lot.
No
of,
way.
that's a lot of serious. That must
I'd
be
be
how
out
the
of
pro,
record.
that must
Definitely over 150.
be
to
how the
200
pro
seals.
players feel when they go to a call in.
Were you kissed
and they
by a
see
rose?
and they see us. Like, look at all these seals.
What did
We
you
can
say?
go clubbing.
What did you say?
I
Sorry?
said, were you kissed by a rose?
No, I was not at any point. But
Okay.
there was a lot of seals. They kind of just sort of sit on the banks, but some of them were like swimming around. Mate, they are weird looking creatures. They look like big slugs in mammal form.
Yeah, have
But
you never
they
seen a
just-
seal before, mate?
Well, no. I don't think I've actually seen I've seen a seal on the television.
You never
but I've
seen.
not
Have
seen
you
one
ever
in real
been to a
life.
zoo?
Well, yeah, I've
Yeah,
been
it's
to
a
quite a few
seal.
zoos,
You ever been
but
to
I don't.
sea life?
No, I don't go to the aquariums very
Oh.
often.
Oh, I love an aquarium.
Oh, I
Maybe
love
I've
it.
seen I've probably seen a seal in
when you were a
as a
kid.
child, but I don't recall seeing a real life seal in a very long time. They look cool. They just sort of lie down, looking content. I would say.
They're the sea dogs.
Yeah. And then on Sunday I played croquet. For the first time.
Look at you.
Look at you.
Tons to do.
Mate, croquet is a vicious game. I don't know if you guys have ever played. It's
I have played
cruel.
croquet.
It's like it's got a lot. There's a lot of backstabbing and hitting other people's balls away.
You've got to get your
Crazy.
balls in the right place.
But then someone just hits their ball into your ball, and then suddenly your balls go flying over somewhere else. It's just
There's a lot of
it's
balls
vicious.
that touch.
I mean, they're all over the place, Simon. Let alone the mallets. That's another matter.
Balls and
But it was a
mallets.
lovely weekend.
Hammer for four.
Had a great time.
Hammer
I've
for
painted
four.
my wall as well. I don't know if we've mentioned this in the podcast. You might notice
does look
my
very
wall
different.
is now a completely different color because me and Kate painted it the other week, and I think I quite like it a lot. I like the green, even though in real life it doesn't look green. It's more of a teal, but on video it always looks green.
Oh, we have a teal
Anyway.
wall in our lounge too.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I'm up in my backdrop, trying to get it. I've got all my fab cards there. Can you see my starter decks there? They're always behind
Yeah.
me, but I've never really pointed them out before. But anyway, Hamish,
Yeah.
what have you been up to?
Oh, wow. I went to a gig last night, and I went to see the goat. Speaking of goats, everyone's been talking about goats on Twitter, and it's been running.
Who's
Yeah.
the goat?
Oh, who's the goat? Oh, well, that's the question,
You saw Pablo Pinto on stage?
Fred the goat.
mate. I saw the real goat. Right, I saw Fred
Yeah.
Durst with his OG crew, Limp Bizkit, headlining with Pendulum, and I will say.
Oh, Pendulum, amazing.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, let me just give you, and there was another band as well. Let me give you a bit of a snapshot, right? So the first band, I can't remember the name, so fairly average. Rock and grime infused. So it wasn't good rock, and grime was okay. Then the next one, Joey Valentine or something, Joey Valentine and Bray. Now, I did not know who they were, and they won. Obviously, Limp Bizkit won, but they won because you know when you go and see a band and you have no idea who they are, and then they just crushed it, and now you're like, I'm now happy I'm here because I've just got to discover something amazing. They are Beastie Boys, straight up Beastie Boys, like.
The Beastie Boys.
No, they were just. But the guy sounded exactly like Beastie Boys, but they had a different level of music as well, where they went like drum and bass and like real hard, and then it went like hip hop. It was brilliant and very punk as well. And then there was another band called Tommy whatever, and they were absolute garbage. Pendulum were good, but a bit boring, unfortunately.
A lot of their songs are very similar.
All their songs sound exactly the same. It was like this, gapu 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 gapu, or boom ga boom ga boom ga boom ga, and it's just like, and then you have the guy going. It was just the whole way through, and then Tarantula came on, and then we were all happy.
Yeah,
and then Limp Bizkit was just they were just absolutely amazing. We were a little bit closer. We were like, oh yeah, I was like, we'll be fine here, standing. We were made closer than we were, but it didn't matter where we stood. The whole place was a mosh pit, and beer, toilet roll was flying everywhere. It was pure carnage, and I haven't been to a gig that ruckus in a long time. Normally, there's a lot of there's always a pit whenever I go to these gigs. But you know, I felt like I was transported back to 2001, where it felt like the safety regs kind of were not as good back then. But you saw the stuff live, and you see the sea of people jumping around and flying sign, and you kind of go, "Wow, that would have been amazing if I was there." And then nowadays they've got like a giant barrier in the middle, which is really good. Got to keep everyone safe, but. But
there's an added element when you feel actually in danger.
Yeah, like, it was not honestly. Like, there was things. Everything was flying, and when they played break stuff, it was.
And if you lose your footing at one point there, like if you go to the ground, you got.
I know there was legit. Some guys went, my jaws cracked, and he just then passed out. I went, oh my god, this place is brutal. Yeah, I was like, Jesus Christ, man, this is brutal. It was. I can imagine, there's going to be a load of people going, the safety of everyone. 100% you're right, but
it was what you needed.
Oh god, yeah. So, I feel like I need to have some glasses on now because I don't want to leave what I was in. And I'm just thought 20 minutes in, if you're wondering why I'm wearing glasses. Because
we got there.
I feel like we've all had really good home news this week.
It was a good one.
Stuff. That's what happens when I think like we had such a major Fab event with the calling. I don't know about you guys, but
I needed this.
I just took some time off. I didn't go to any of the skirmishes. No, I went to one. I was
going to say, she was like, I went to none. That means
but I just
one.
didn't. I could have gone to more, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna have some time, just sort of recuperate, do some fun stuff with the family, do some fun stuff with Kate, and it's been really good. And it's it's not all about Fab.
I had a week camping in Wales.
Yeah, you didn't even mention your week away, Simon. Yeah, I kind of moved on, but
we're moving on. Unfortunately, we are moving on. But
we should talk about.
Can I just drop in a quick gardener's corner?
Go on then.
So I thought before I went to Wales, going to be away for a little while. I will make sure that all of the courgettes have been harvested that are there now.
That I need to know when do I do that?
They're okay in the fridge when I get back. Blah, blah, blah. I didn't want any of them to get too big. Anyway, I missed one, and I came back to, no word of a lie, about two and a bit foot long courgette, and it's it's like
say it. I'm just waiting for the bit so I can. I want you to tee me up so I can say it.
It was honestly the size of my arm.
That's what she said.
It was massive.
Well, it's not a courgette anymore, is it, mate? You've messed up.
It's a marrow.
Yeah, it'll taste disgusting as well.
No, it won't. Although
It will. It will.
No, why
prompted-
are you
prompted,
dissing my cucumber?
Oh, that's the thing you've got. Is oh wait,
It's not a
sorry.
cucumber.
Yeah, it's a
It's the
courgette.
courgette,
Well, yeah, it
which
will
turns
taste
into a
awful
marrow.
then.
It won't
Yeah,
taste
because
awful.
marrows are awful, and the courgettes are pretty rubbish too.
Not
But
awful.
you got to
Anyway,
harvest your courgettes, guys. You can't leave them too long.
this
Because
prompted
you're
a
going to lose
discussion.
all
Okay.
of the taste when they get that
This
big.
prompted a discussion about
Batch.
how whether it would be a record-breaking courgette. It would not be. The world record size for courgette is over 8 foot long, and it's from Canada.
It's
There
not
you go.
courgette, is
That's what
it?
she said.
I don't agree with that at all.
Okay,
It's a zucchini.
I'm taking the glasses off. It is done.
Oh, he's back. Who's this guy?
Oh, Hamish, I didn't know you were
It's
there.
done, everyone. Right, let's talk shop. It's flesh and blood time. So, what's been going on?
How are you finding Dust Till Dawn as a
Great
Bolton
question.
stan?
Oh well, you know what? I knew this would happen. I'll buy 2 cases and use none of it.
Yep.
Yeah, but I don't care.
No, Trips used 1 card. Trips used 1 card.
I didn't buy any, so I'm pretty happy.
Well, yeah, it was. Unfortunately, Bolton, Vincent, Prism, and Leviah is probably the best one out of the lot. And
Leviah's
even then,
genuinely been competing, but
Even
still.
then,
even
like,
then,
it's
it's
an
just.
odd one,
It
isn't
turns out Brute loses to itself,
For everything. Yeah.
and
We saw it twice. Didn't
we did, and we saw what Brute can do when it all goes well with Matt Folks, and then we saw what would happen. Actually, the other chap, Michael, but I always know him as Panturk on stream on Twitch. He actually did an amazing job, and just fate, just fate.
Yeah, I think he actually played a better game
He did. He played
than Matt Fox. As in, like,
he had a
played
strategy.
the hero better.
Yeah. I think they actually both played it really well. They both played the strategy that they needed for that hero. But by the by, it's all on Tabletop 24 to watch those individual games. Yeah, Dust Till Dawn's been really, really cool. I'm not 100% sure what... So, I'm not sure what that set has done to shift the meta. And we did say this, or I feel like I did say it, but we all agreed that
Hold your son.
Oldhim leaving would be far more impactful than Dust Till Dawn showing up. And that is 100% true. Although that is a lie. Actually, one
Actually,
great
one card.
One card.
1 card, and it's yellow, and it costs 7.
No.
Oh,
No, well,
shame.
then 2 cards then. What's your card?
Starstruck.
Like,
that
yeah.
That is the card that is.
Well,
It's
I would
hard.
say, I would say
it's made Bravo relevant again.
Starstruck is definitely a card. I do think Briar's card is actually really relevant. Her unique one that can actually do some block up
Anthem of
stuff.
Spring.
Not as big,
alright.
not as big.
Yeah,
but
it's
it
not as
is
flashy.
But it is something. And
Yeah.
that Decimator Axe, man.
Yeah, that Decimator Axe.
That
pretty good.
Decimator Axe was just like a massive sleeper. That card I think is definitely a game changer for Warrior as a class in
The
general.
Warrior, yeah.
Yeah, huge.
Yeah.
Other than that,
For the future, I think right now it's doing some work, but it's not crazy. But like, I think it's
Mm.
a
I
tool for the
think-
future that is always going to be there, and I think that's really interesting for
it
the
wrecks a
changing
mid-range
nature of the
game.
Warrior.
It wrecks
It's
a
giving Warrior a
mid-range.
bit more space to play around in future sets, which I think is quite nice, and I think that's good. Yeah.
Okay.
I think coming back to the James White point in our incredible James White interview, these heroes that are being released with Dust Till Dawn are puzzles for players to work out, and I don't think they've been solved yet.
I know.
They
I
will
don't know if-
will require a certain meta condition
Yeah, I think they've been solved.
to come to fruition.
Yeah, I think people have genuinely pushed Prism to the brink point of this is what it is now, and it turns out it is Heralds, and it is just Iris, and don't be afraid, just play it, right?
I think it's like in Hearthstone there used to be a thing called Unicorn Priest, which was like they said that Priest was broken and no one could work out what it was, and everyone was trying to find out, oh my god, what's this broken deck that I can build? It just turns out that there was no broken deck. It was just that is just the hero now, and it's the same with Prism. Like, I don't think there is a broken Prism deck out there. I think and this is sort of like people only remember Prism with the blue auras and how great She
Yeah,
was like
she
before the
wasn't
Blue
that
Aura,
good
she
before that.
wasn't doing the work. I mean, it was a much more, it was a much less sophisticated meta at that point. I think it'd be fair to say, and a lot less like global. We didn't really have
Well,
Talishar at that point, so it
no, we
was a lot
didn't have.
harder to
We had
really stress test a deck.
Tabletop
And
Simulator.
Prism was up there, but it wasn't really topping events. And like Briar was just like destroying it every time. And then when the blue auras came out, it's really started doing work, and a lot more people got into the
And that
game, and
other
those
one
decks
for
started to get
7.
refined. Yeah,
Yeah.
not even that. It was, I mean, by the end of it, the prison decks were barely running any red cards at all.
But it always ran that one
Already,
because if it popped, it'd make another one of those auras.
Miraging Metaform.
yeah,
That's
like
it.
sure, but it wasn't like sure. It was the blue auras though. Like
Oh yeah, I know it was
it was
the
the
blue
aura.
auras.
It was the aura density. The aura density was huge. Being able to play two
Yeah.
auras in one turn, that was kind of insane for just building board.
Shimmers of
When
Silver,
when they can only
haze bending.
kill,
Yeah.
yeah, when they can only kill one aura a turn, and you can make two auras a turn.
If you
yeah,
think about
GG,
it,
right?
though, right? If you think about the new Prism, you know, one of the things that James White pointed out that what was one of the most problematic weapons they ever made was Luminaris, and then the second most problematic thing they've made is Voltaire, right? And they actually have done this.
Yeah.
They actually have made, which I think people will clock a little bit later, but you know, we'll just tell you right now. The new Luminaris is exactly a stay in the sip or whatever the thing they want to, you know, the buzzword they want to throw out this. It is a card that literally says you can give anything go again. It will cost you 2, but it will give anything, any herald go again.
Yeah,
and I
mean,
think that's actually
there's
really
a big
goddamn
difference, David,
strong.
between give anything go again and give a
Okay,
herald go
yeah.
again.
No, but I know Lumen.
And
but
also,
you know,
it costs 2.
no, but my point
It's good,
is
like,
that that's. I don't think we're going to see a weapon like have the text of give this the things that you will naturally want to put in your deck a go again, and the cost is 2. Whereas if you look at everyone else's weapons, there isn't that same sort of. Do you know what I mean? That same sort.
Well, it's weird comparing.
But that's why
Illusionist
she's
weapons to anything
that's why she's
else, because
34
they're
health
always
as
just
well.
strange.
She's got an incredibly powerful hero ability. She's got a weapon that can give the heralds go again on tap. You know, as and when you need it. It isn't efficient, but I think that is a sign of, well, yes, Luminaris and Voltaire are insane, right? I'm like, yes, they also don't like that they're insane. We're going to ride this out. But once Voltaire is gone, I honestly think that we'll enter a new. It's just going to be a completely different world of who's the aggro players. Well, it's Ninja. Ninja's the go again guys. Well, they are, aren't they? They're designed to be that way, and everyone else is. Well, we've got to put in some plans to disrupt a very aggressive flow of what ninjas can deliver, but we don't need to all do what ninjas are doing.
The trouble with the prism weapon is it's the classic 2 and 2 issue where most of the heralds cost 2 and the weapon costs 2, and the most you can pitch for is with one card is 3, which just immediately breaks your. You know, that's why Briar is so good and why Viscera is so good, because of being able to do something that costs. Being able to do a lot with one pitched card. That's or if
But
you're
you
not
need
if
to
you're
have
gonna
cards
pitch.
set up with it.
If you're going to pitch anything, you want to maximize the amount you can get out of 3 resources, or you want to pitch nothing like 5, right? And like, it's the issue of 2 and 2 and 2. It's why Pummel is such an interesting card, because it's such a high payoff, but it's such an awkward thing to play because you have to play on a 2-cost card and it costs 2, so you can't do it with 1 blue. That's why Tunic is so good, because you break that, right? And then it's like, well, Tunic's a bit of a problem because like people don't want to have Tunic anymore because it's really expensive card and they keep reprinting it every single time, and whiteboard a Tunic is nearly £200. It's crazy. Like,
I don't understand why
that's beside
whiteboard
the
a
point.
tunic is £200.
'Cause
Oh,
it's
by
the
the way,
best
Simon,
looking
do we
one,
have a
but,
topic? Or are we just
yeah,
rolling?
we're just freestyling right now.
We're freestyling, but we do need to stop. We do need to touch on 2 things.
What are those
What
2
should we
things?
touch? Should I touch them?
Touch them, please.
What
Look
are
at them
they?
shine. They're bright.
Oh,
They're bright lights.
oh yeah. We're going to a place with bright lights.
We're going to a place with bright lights. Worlds
Well,
will be in a place with bright lights.
Can we can
We'll
we
get
link
to
from
that.
this conversation we're having about the impact of Dust Till Dawn, which I think all of us are saying is like, yeah, it's had some impact, but it's not a huge impact.
I
I
wouldn't
think we're
even
all
it's been
happy to
bigger.
say that.
Yeah.
Could have been bigger, but then we're going to the next set.
Yeah.
But next set is a pure mechanologist set. So how much impact is that set going to have?
Well, it's
Yeah,
going to
I,
definitely
this is
make an
How does
impact
that?
on
How do
Mac.
we feel about the meta going forward when we've had a set with not a huge amount of impact, followed by a set that, and don't get me
yeah.
wrong, I know about the expansion slot cards, blah 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 blah, but another set with the vast majority of the cards seem to have been designed in a way to really just absolutely perfect the sealed experience for Fab, which I am very happy about. Don't get me wrong, I'm really happy about that because I love sealed. I love the idea of
Is this a
new ways
question?
to play sealed. Yeah, and it's like, how do you guys feel about having two sets in a row that can have minimal impact on the meta? Or do you think the mech is just going to be so
Ah,
strong that it's going to throw the meta up into the air?
Can I just say I love it?
yeah,
Yeah,
I agree.
I love it. And so when everyone was having you know, which I empathise. A lot of people were saying Dust Till Dawn was a bit of a weird one. Any light, any shadow, very minimal impact or stuff for select heroes. Yeah, I agree, right? I know that feeling of playing Bolton since Monarch and getting nothing for Tales of Aria or every set until Dust Till Dawn, and then suddenly I've got something. It turns out that actually, do we need to have a game where every set there must be a card for my class or hero in order for me to feel like I can only improve, thus new cards show up? Or when other heroes get better and show up, so this set is just mechanologist, now we can actually start seeing maybe a new hero from that set just comes out the gate flying, or Dash has actually now got enough support in there. But just by Dash or this new hero showing up, kind of funks up what these top decks are doing. But luckily, you, who are playing whatever hero, are now in the spot to deal with this actually new hero. So thus, nothing came for your hero, but yet everything came for your hero at the same time, because all these old cards might be relevant for you now, and you could utilize those cards very well. And you're now change it. You've now got a deck by buying nothing. Doesn't that feel good? Doesn't that feel
Yeah,
like
a
I've
weird one,
improved
isn't it?
my hero
I agree.
by doing
I
nothing?
agree. I agree on a couple of points. Firstly, Trip, I am so looking forward to this 3-pack sealed format where you can
4-pack.
like
Oh, the crack format, yeah.
Four
crack,
pack.
shuffle, and play.
No, there's two. There's crack
There's
and
two
there's
sealed
also
formats.
four sealed, yeah, 4-pack sealed.
There's a 4-pack sealed, but there's also a crack shuffle play where you literally open 3 packs, put them all together, and that's your deck.
Oh, I thought it was 4 packs. Open it up and there's your deck.
That's the sealed. That's what
Yeah.
sealed is now. Is 4-packs rather
Oh.
than 6. So that will be
I
what
think-
the world's format is 4-pack
Isn't that
sealed.
the same thing?
When
It's a
no,
little bit different.
when James White said to us on our interview, there's going to be a new way of playing this game, a new a new way of enjoying Flesh and Blood that hasn't been done before. I think he was talking about the crack shuffle and play, where kitchen table players can take a few packs and they can just sit round and go, right, I don't need to go and buy a specific precon. I can just go and buy 3 packs and then play any games.
And,
Yeah.
and 4-pack sealed will also have all the token equipment that's coming with the set. So like
Yeah.
exoskeleton for the mechs, you can
Yeah.
just add to your equipment loadout, which I
You
don't
can add
think
the
would be the
basic,
case
those
for
prototype ones, right?
snap, crack, and pop, or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
The Rice
Crack shuffle
Krispies
play.
sealed.
Rice Krispie format, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So
no, that's
I do
cool.
agree.
But, Simon, you were
I'm looking
saying
forward
about
I'm looking
yeah,
forward to that limited aspect. But Hamish, on your point, I think it goes further, right? So
Ooh, take it there.
we are seeing a couple of sets where a limited number of heroes specifically are given cards, a limited number of talents, a limited number of classes are given cards. I think LSS are doing a couple of things here. If you are the type of player that only buys into sets where your hero gets cards, this is allowing you to save up a bit of money and not overexert yourself as the meta evolves, right? So you have a chance to just sit back and watch things evolve. It also allows the living legend system to progress. There will be heroes that live in Legend out because they are good, having been given no more cards. They don't need those power cards. They already have them. So they will living Legend out and allow metas to change over time without actually having to give them or their classes any more cards. So it gives things time to evolve. But also I think it just allows that story to progress, the exploration of the world of Wraith to progress. We haven't seen metrics yet. We've been to the pits, we've not seen metrics. We're going to see a couple new heroes. Not everything has to, as you said, Hamish, not every set has to evolve cards for every hero. And as a ninja player, I'm quite happy to sit here and have not had ninja cards for 2 sets because I'm getting consistent with the deck that I've got and I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so true. And I agree with both what you're saying. I especially agree with what you're saying, Hamish, about I think people need to sort of, well, they don't have to, but it'd be interesting to sort of
You better.
reevaluate like how you feel about your deck, and if you're like not getting support, it you have to look at the wider meta, and if the meta is changing, your hero, like Hamish has said, it's like you've got like a new deck for free. It's not quite
Free.
like that, but like it is.
Well, no, but
And I
yeah,
understand how
'cause-
flashy it is to get new cards, and everyone wants new cards, but also actually like we should shout LSS out for kind of making actually making the game like a little bit
Yeah.
more affordable. Like
Oh, yeah,
it
they're
really
old-
depends
they're
on
old
what's in these
cards.
sideboard and in these expansion slot cards. But yeah, like give us a set off. And it's an interesting strategy from LSS because if you think about it from a business point of view, they're effectively saying, right, this is not going to be a set that competitive meta player X buys 5 cases of to get every single card they need for the future to be meta relevant. They're basically saying we are so confident in the sealed experience of this set that we think we're going to shift as much as normal because it's just going to be people just wanting to play these new formats, crack shuffle play, and just 4-pack sealed, that we still think we're going to shift the product even if the set is not meta defining. Or I should say, the set does not require you to buy in from a seeking out card point of view. So
That being
I think
said,
that's really
Drew,
They
interesting.
do need to actually back that up, though. I feel in the armory kits, if they in order for that kitchen table experience is one thing, but in order to get people to go, why do I want to do this Rice Krispie format?
Yeah.
So
I'm so glad we're calling it
the Rice
Rice
Krispie
Yeah,
format.
Rice Krispie.
Yeah, it's the Rice Krispie
Flesh and
format.
blood.
At
But
Crackle Pop Fingers,
I would love this, but if it's still just armory, whatever, you got to give it that extra oomph of come do.
Well, it'll be a skirmish format, surely.
Come do the Rice Krispie format, and you'll get all this really cool stuff. Like I know what they normally do, but they just got to kind of. I feel like they've got to make it a bit more potentially snazzier rather than just like another sealed, but it's a slightly bit different.
My hope is that LSS have developed the judge pack system as a trial for creating armory packs as prizes.
That could be quite cool. wouldn't it?
I'm telling you now. I don't think it will be cool, and it sounds so poo-poo-ish, and it's because I lived through it on another game. And they literally made game night booster pack stuff, and it is very feels bad. It doesn't translate very well, but it depends
what's
if
in the
every
packs.
card is relevant. Because
It depends what's in the packs, right? Because at the moment, I go to an armory, I come like third or fourth, and the card I get is irrelevant. I don't give a damn about a pringly promo that I could basically just
but
throw
at the same
away.
time, it does feel bad if you come last. Sorry, Simon, you come last, and then the guy who came last got the ALS.
That's great.
That's great. So the reason that's great, Hamish, is because current armory situations overemphasize competitive play when actually the armory should be about getting new players into a slightly more competitive scene. Not
I agree with this point.
What we see a lot at the moment is the best players go, they win every week, they take all the cold fours, they sell them on, which is fine.
You're right.
But
I think
it puts off new players.
It emphasizes my point of just make all the cards actually something that are of nodding worth of going, yes, I like this. Like they did with the Judge packs when they went a cold four pummel. Yeah, that's cool. Colourful
It
Wooing
doesn't.
Ball.
It
That's
won't
cool.
work.
That's cool.
But
That doesn't work
armories are so numerous, like
because
you
they
just
can't all
can't.
be. They can't all be worth. It depends what you mean by
But I mean
worth. If
worth
you
by
think
like
if it's like cool,
playable. It's
yeah, like
it's a
cool
staple
cards.
card. The stuff you see in a history pack. They're the cards that
Well,
you
no,
look at every one of them and go, oh, I'd see that in my deck. Oh, I'd see that
I
card in my
don't.
deck.
I don't think that's what it should be. I think it should just be
No,
like all art cards that are just pure
Yeah, well,
vanity, and like that would be kind
no,
of interesting.
100%.
But
Not monetary worth,
yeah,
but fought through cards because the old game they gave us old art cards that no one played, like Moon
yeah.
Kiss,
Well,
whatever
like
that card was in Arcane Rising, and you go, here's an alt art Moon Wish, cool.
I think
You
it's
know,
fine.
like, all
'Cause
right.
I think if they're sensible about it, like what they've done with the judge packs is really interesting. Like they have chosen cards, like even the weakest card, Wounded Bull, is a card played in a meta deck. So it's like
Exactly.
that's kind of what I'm
It's
getting
not
at. What I'm
monetary
saying.
value. It's just
They've sort of tested that out with judges, and I also just think the age of the rain. Let's just say it. The rainbow foil extended art promos, they're awful. They
yeah,
just Pringle. You can't put them
yeah,
in a deck box because they Pringle the rest of your cards. You can barely put them in a sleeve because you go anywhere with humidity and suddenly it's
yeah.
literally bent in
Gone.
two. They're just not good. They're just not they're not an incentive for
The
me to get
no.
quality
So the
right.
quality
assurance
of
on
the
that
card
product
is not good
is
enough.
not great.
It's poor.
No, but is the
Yeah.
card if they turn and went fixed it? Is it good enough?
Well,
then?
yeah, at
No,
the
but
moment,
no.
yeah, they would be because the cards
Oh.
are normally new cards from a set. And if you're a new player and you've not been able to buy a lot of product, and you're like, okay, this is a way for me to get a rare card that like it would be annoying for me to get otherwise. Sure, that would be a good
I'm,
compromise. But I
I'm just
think I would
thinking.
rather have like all art relevant cards, like you're saying, Hamish, like Razor Reflexes, Sink
Yeah,
but my
Belows, like
point
just
is the
tank
quality.
yeah.
Your point was
but
quality, and if the
the cards,
quality
Hamish, you're
yeah.
right,
But
are
there's
not playable cards. Like the first generation of cards from Welcome to Wraith promos were Whelming Gustwave, Wrecker Romp, Ironsong,
Oh yeah, they were good.
Response,
yeah,
and
they're all playable.
Blessing of
Yeah,
Deliverance,
that was my
or whatever
point.
that
That's
was.
what. But
Not so much that one, but
I liked it
a
when
little
we
bit.
got the what's the Icelander card, the one that X and X makes.
Ice Eternal.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
Yeah.
came in army packs, and I was like, brilliant. Yeah, that cards
yeah,
are
yeah,
play that card, when they're in your deck, and even the
yeah.
blue
They look
Emerita
great.
Scolding, you're loving it. But that's my
Yeah,
point. The old game
the
just
blue
went
Volcanic Bolt were good, right?
his old art Moonwish or his old
Yeah,
art, and that's when you kind of
yeah,
go, no one bloody cares about that. We
yeah.
want an old art. I don't know, Fate Foreseen or Sink Below. Just
Yeah,
full
exactly.
yeah, something like that. They'll be in your deck.
Perfectly doable. I
Yeah,
just think
that
that
would
would
be
be more of
brilliant.
a incentive. But
Yeah.
anyway, I've kind of lost sight of what we were talking
No,
about.
I want to
No.
come back to something you said
Oh,
actually,
it
Trip,
was the Rice Krispie thing saying we
um,
should
Yeah.
incentivize people
Trip,
bothering.
you were talking about LSS not aiming this at competitive players buying multiple cases, and I'm not actually sure how many like super competitive players buy a huge amount of
No,
sealed
that's
products.
true.
Yeah.
Actually, they don't
I think
tend
we're
to.
just
a lot.
weird.
They tend to borrow
all,
decks.
all of our friends are weird. They just
A
like to
lot,
buy tons of product. Yeah.
a lot of the UK's top competitive players will go and buy specific decks for
They
specific
won't buy
meta.
Oh no, they won't buy
They
anything.
won't buy
They'll
any
just
product.
they'll borrow a whole
So,
deck of someone. Yeah, that's Matt Folks.
so
That's Jamie Faulkner.
Jamie, yeah.
I
This
don't know
is
if Rob
where
Catton's is culprit of this. Probably
this
not.
is where the LSS feeling about collectors and investors have to be involved in the game because they're the ones buying the product. That the single sellers will buy some, the collectors will buy some because they want to complete their sets. So I think this is a good move. I think Bright Lights is a good tester for LSS to see how a set that is almost completely based around limited play does on the open market. And I think we'll see it in LGSs. I think we'll see it at kitchen tables. I think people will take to it.
Now,
And mechanology just are a class that people love to get involved in. Like they get properly in with it.
can I put an analogy to this set?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're like
Give it to
albums.
us.
They're like albums, right? So Outsiders is the album we knew was coming, and it was just like solid, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
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 Dusk
All
Till
right, yeah.
Dawn was it is going to be. It's like some people like
The
it's
B-side.
album of the year.
It's the alternative, kind of like, yeah, it wins the
album of the year.
what, yeah,
But some
not
people
it,
go too heavy for me.
It's critically acclaimed, but maybe
Mercury
not
Music
loved
Prize,
by
like-
maybe not
Yeah.
loved by everyone. Yeah, okay.
And then this one, it reminds me of Linkin Park, and then they went prog rock. We're not screamo. We're not screamo band anymore.
Yeah.
We fancy jazz. And you go,
This is like the new Arctic Monkeys.
And some people
Yeah.
go, I really like this new direction they've gone. And a lot of people go, I want my Outsiders. I want my
yeah.
album.
This
Can
is
I
Arctic
suggest
Monkeys
that-
all over again.
This is the prog rock set of
Yeah.
fuck it. Let's go.
It's almost like as if the band has suddenly realized, wouldn't it be really good if we were big in Japan?
Yeah,
And what could we do
yeah.
that would be really appealing to a Japanese audience? Of course, we're
strange,
talking
yeah.
about the album metaphor at the moment, not
Yeah.
the game.
Not the
Yeah.
flesh and blood.
Yeah,
Nothing to do with flesh
we all
and
know
blood.
Japanese love the
Japanese
mechanologists.
people hate mechas.
So this is
Nailed it.
this
Nailed
this
it.
is where this is definitely their prog rock one. Although I will say there was a band called Parkway Drive. They went down that road. They were like heavy band, and then they decided they're going to be kind of boom ka rock, slow, and it was fucking awful, right? It did not go down well. Everyone went, I want my old album back, and then they come
Right.
and then they go out and do tours. And they're still playing all their old songs, never the new songs, always the old songs. So maybe, and I hope not, but maybe this set might turn into a. Can you
Got a
just play
question
the
for
old
you.
songs, please?
So Simon, are you going to move the conversation on? Because if you're going to do that, before you do that, we should do the giveaway.
We should.
Before we get to
Let's
the
do
very
that.
end.
We
Let's
should
do
have done
that.
this
And then
at
I've
the
got-
We
start.
should have done this
Apologies.
earlier, but I thought let's jump in now. So if you don't
Do it.
know, if you become a Push the Point patron of any tier, we are now doing a per episode, Hamish one, a per episode giveaway of 6 packs of the current set, which is currently Dust Till Dawn. So very kindly, Living Realms gave us a whole case actually of Dust Till Dawn, and we gave a lot of it away at the calling. But we've got a lot of it left, and we're going to give the rest of it away to patrons. So every episode, we're going to be doing a random draw. We have done that random draw, and the winner, the first ever winner of 6 packs of Dust Till Dawn from the patron scheme is,
Jazz
and I
hands.
believe this person is in fact our newest patron, Coast Wizard Joe Potter.
Wow. Well
That is
done.
our newest patron, right? Joe is our newest patron. I can't quite remember, but I think so.
You
Hammer
can
for
leave
four.
now.
Yeah, he is our new patron.
Hammer for
Congratulations, Joe. You have made your patron money back immediately.
Immediately.
four. In fact, you've
hope you'll
made money.
I hope you'll stick around. You've actually net profited so far off the patron schemes.
I want to say thank you to Joe as well, because he came up to us at the calling and he was very cheery guy, happy to chat. So yeah, thanks for
So
being a
Joe, I'll
patron.
be in touch to get your details, but thank you very much. And if you would like to get in on this per episode giveaway, so twice per month, just become a patron. The cheapest is £3 a month, but you can give as much as £10 a month if you have the financial ability to do so. And we appreciate every penny. And as you see, we were able to do lots of good stuff at the calling. Like we had our goodie bags that we're giving away. Being able to use some of that patron money to give back to the community, the wider community, not just the patrons, but we thought it would be good to do something patron specific.
And if
as well.
you're a Patreon and there's a new set coming out, you get a 5% discount at Living Realms, which pretty much saves your money back immediately.
Yeah,
So
some of the patrons have pointed out, it's a big
lucrative
incentive.
discount code.
And I have to say, and we've
okay.
also as well, we've got partnerships with Metal Fab Tokens as well.
Yeah,
and then I
which
do
is
and
cool.
you see this big box of stuff here.
Look, he's got an organised
I've
drawer.
got an organised drawer, and I distribute all the stuff, all the Metal Fab Tokens to the UK, right? And if there's new stuff coming, patrons do kind of get a bit of a nudge.
They get a head start.
They get a head
Dude,
start. They always do.
Very, very
Hamish, is there something
cool
that they may
product.
have been given a
Yeah.
head start on recently that you
Well,
want
if you're
to
a
share?
patron,
or-
you can find out when you join.
There you go. Love it.
There you go.
I'm very
All right,
excited.
so we've got a couple of minutes left, and I got asked a question or sent a question to ask on the podcast. So I'm going to ask you both the same question.
All right. No.
Bright lights. Bright Lights has
Yes.
this expansion slot. The first time we've seen
Podcasting.
Yeah.
We're podcasting.
Oh!
the first time we've seen an expansion slot, and I think it's already been confirmed that there's going to be a Tunic reprint again.
Yes,
Right,
there
right.
is.
What's the question?
Do we think that in this expansion slot we will see non-foil Fables printed for the first time?
No.
Oh.
I'm so glad I said no straight away, because no, it's not going to happen. And if it does, I will. I don't know. What would my forfeit be?
I want to say yes so bad.
I
just
would give-
because
I would
Hamish
give-
is saying no.
I'll give away one of my
All
Metal Fab
your
Tokens.
stock.
No, I'll give away all of my stock. No,
I'm never going to financially recover from
Oh, no,
this was
Brandon would be like, "Oh, shut up, Hamish! Shut up, Hamish!"
This was
I'll give
sent
away
to
a
me
token.
by,
I'll give
Who
away a
sent
Met.
this question in?
I'll
Sorry.
give away
This
a
was sent
pack of
to
6
me.
Met tokens if it is yes.
This was
It's
sent
not.
to me by James Ashall, who friend of the podcast from the Peterborough scene. Now, he was making the point that we know that LSS have said no card is going to be printed in a better condition in a future set, so they always look worse. They're either non-foil or white border, whatever. But we've only seen Fables printed in black border,
Yeah.
cold foil or rainbow foil in multiple languages now. So do we think there's going to be a whiteboard, or do we think there's going to be an expansion slot version?
Is there?
So Hamish has already given his answer.
oh, what in bright lights?
Yeah,
in bright lights.
What? So heart, eye, all that coming out in bright
potentially.
lights?
Yeah,
No,
not all of them. Maybe just one of them.
no,
So-
that sounds
so-
ridiculous.
So Hamish has already given his answer. I completely agree with Hamish.
Okay.
I don't think we're going to see it in bright lights.
But you said
However, well, I didn't know. Yeah, I know.
Ooh, you shouldn't
Turns
have
out
said
I
that.
An important part of it is changing your mind when you're wrong. We will see it. We won't
Yeah,
see it in this product.
I agree with that.
I think 5-year anniversary product, I think, is a very high chance. I could see them reprinting every single Fable up until that point in a non-foil variety. Just do some crazy product for the 5 years. Maybe even wait to the 10 years. I don't know. But like, it's not bright lights. It's
No.
got to be something really special.
Bright lights has
for-
got to have its
for them
own
to do
Fabled.
that. I also think that
Maybe
the
do it as a
Fabled-
proxy that you can't use in competitive play.
I really think the Fables are the first.
Come
could be
slabbed.
the first thing where they actually go back on something that that I could see them banning the Fables. So just put that out there now.
No.
I think it's something that maybe they might do as like a Fab 3.0 kind of thing, where they just decide to wipe the slate clean a bit. They're not that bad. I think honestly, Heart and Eye are the only ones that really
Don't ban my toys. Look how cool
that are
they
really
are.
impactful. Heart, I think, is the biggest problem just because of its. But I think LSS is a smart enough company, and I think they are good enough at. I do think they are good enough at designing the game to make sure the meta develops in a way that the Fables don't become critical
Too
cards.
powerful.
The riskiest one, I think, is always going to be Heart. I don't think Library is a problem, in my personal opinion.
Or Caution.
Shard is a Viserai specialization.
And even
so
they
that
don't even
Viserai
play
will
it.
go one day and doesn't even play it. Eye of Ophidia is kind of interesting, but I'm not too bothered by it. Heart is just the one, but I think Heart is the first one. I can't.
You know what's
I'm
really
coming
weird?
back on myself immediately and being like, I don't think they will ban them. I trust LSS to just keep designing the game in a way to make sure that these Fables never become.
Do you know what I found really weird when we first started? It was true. All of that was true. All of this Fable talk was true. Was
true.
you don't need
All of it.
Eye. It's nice, but you don't need it. Heart. It's nice, but you don't need it. It's still, I think, still 90% true. It's nice, but you don't need it. Viserai's one, and then Library came out, and that was the first sign of, I don't know.
Well, this is quite
Library
good.
This one's
was no.
in
It was never
Prism.
good. Library was never good.
There was a time for a month.
Yeah.
There was,
It was yeah.
Hang on, you can't say it
and
wasn't.
At the end of that
It
month,
was.
at the end, no, I am, because at the end of that month, everyone realized it was not that good, and they shouldn't have been
Yeah.
running it.
Okay,
That's
okay,
that's
fine.
exactly what I'm saying,
Okay,
yeah.
fine. And then
I
we
think
kind
I
of
was the first good one, right? Like
no,
Kano
I know.
and Blitz
Eye.
as well,
It was
yeah.
Kano and I for
Maybe
sure,
NCC.
but I
big
think ever
cases.
since then it was kind of like, and then Caution, whatever, and it was just kind of ticked along, going, whatever.
Yeah.
And it still is whatever. It really is still whatever.
Yeah.
We got the Light of Soul. Yeah, whatever. Plague Hive.
I think honestly, Heartfinder is the only one that I could say to someone if they were like, I want to have the best,
Yeah.
like back in the olden days, like I want to have the best Oldham deck, or I want to have the best Fatigue deck. I can see a world where I'd be like, yeah, if maybe you should pick up Heart if you are like if you're like topping every single calling you go to, you're getting tons of prize money. Sure,
It's a marginal gain, but
drop
it's
some money on a Heart.
It's a
but like,
noticeable
apart
one.
from
It
that,
all depends on the hero, right? Because if there's a hero that turns around and goes, yeah, I start on the game with less health, and I'm a really grindy hero with less health,
Yeah.
I just goes, there you go. Put
It's
that
the,
in.
it's the late game cycle of heal one, deal X, heal one, deal X, that kind of thing, and it's just like that's just too good. But it's not too good actually. It's not. It's a very rare occurrence for a game to get to that state, and for the game to still be finishable in time
it's-
to the point where it's like it's apples and oranges kind of stuff. It's like is it a problem? It's a really great question. I think
It
we've
is a
gone
good
away from the
question.
question, which was, will they be reprinted in a non-foil format, which is what the question was, in Bright Lights? I
No.
think the answer is not in Bright Lights, but I could definitely see it happening as some kind of anniversary
Yeah.
product at some point in the future.
We got is it? I actually that is actually a genuinely very good question. I love that. It was.
We should do another
it's-
Q&A.
Yeah,
episode.
no,
I really
100%. I tell you what, let's
enjoy
go. Yeah, let's do it on the forums again. Where we do it live.
Yeah, I really enjoy it when people submit questions to the podcast because, like, I think it forces us to have opinions on stuff.
Yeah.
And
It's
like normally we like
1%.
talk about what's going on, and it really
That's what
makes us
Heart
think
is.
about. Yeah, exactly.
It's
Yeah,
1%.
like it really.
It is 1% better, and that is what high competitive players want when going to a very high competitive event. If they want to get that 1%, they'll put it in, but don't fret, everyone. You don't need that 1%. Like Heart won't probably win you the game, but it certainly feels good when you're doing something in that turn and it feels like you've got great value.
It could also lose you the game because it can't block.
It could also do that. It's
Do
definitely
you do 100 more reps of your deck before you buy a Heart?
maybe that's the argument of, instead of actually going, oh my god, it's in every deck, we should just turn around and everyone that says how good is Heart in your deck, could you have won without it? I bet you if they turn around and clocked it, they'll turn and go, oh, I definitely want to put it in because getting that one health is really, really feels good. It's really good. It's
we all wanna
amazing
put it in,
value.
maybe.
But could I have lost the whole event if I didn't have it? And I bet you they'll go, it
Was
did
it
me
in-
well in one game.
Was it in Pablo's list? I think it was.
It was
No, it wasn't. It was in Sebastian.
Sebastian's. Yeah. Okay. It was
see,
in one of
Pablo
the
didn't put
Bravos
it
list,
in.
yeah.
And I bet you
Yeah,
didn't
well,
put it in
there
because he
you
doesn't
go.
have one.
Knock 100 quid off the price because Pablo doesn't.
All right,
There you
we're
go.
gonna wrap it up because
That was a great
we
podcast.
said
Glass
we were
is
gonna have
on.
a tight hour.
I was so tired getting into this podcast. No, not afraid to say to the audience.
This
And,
energizes-
It
this
absolutely
energizes us.
invigorates me every single
Yeah.
time. It's so good to be able to chat about this game and chat with you. We know you guys are listening at home, so I hope you've enjoyed it. And we didn't even talk about the calling, which is the biggest thing that happened to
We
us.
don't
but
need
we've
to. The
because
vlog
we're
says it
already-
all.
And we're already moving on to the next thing, and like we're already moving on to the next set, and like I would just want to finish by saying, please, like Hamish was saying, please watch the vlog. Like, it's probably the most cinematic video that we've put out on the channel in terms of the quality
And that's all
of
Sean.
the filming and the work that Sean put on it. Like, we're really proud of every video we've put out, but this is something special, and I think it's also really good if you've got someone that just wants to know a bit more about Flesh and Blood, because it's not, they don't need to understand the game. It's just a story of some guys talking about card games for 2 days. So I would
Although
really
my
hope you check it
dad,
out.
my dad did turn around and go, I just watched your What's the Point? I don't know what happened, but it was good. And I was like,
My parents loved it.
I know.
All right.
They did
Say
say
goodbye, everyone.
All right, it's a
Okay.
tight hour.
Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye, everyone.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.